Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Let me check something out here real quick first. So I had that straight. What's going on here? Okay. Just a little bit. No, that's not going to work. Straight. Okay. No, still not. Let's see here. 1 second, brothers and sisters. A technical problem here. What's going on? Inside. Okay. Oh. What? Looks like about as good as it's going to get. Okay, one more day here. Get this situated right. Okay. And make a couple adjustments here. Color adjustments. That should do it. Okay, let's see. Okay, brothers and sisters, had a couple of technical difficulties here. So we'll see what happens. Well, I tend to focus today on what this year is going to be like. From where we are right now forward until the end. That's what I want to focus on. I want to embellish, I'm going to really go a little more detail. There's a lot of confusion out there, of course, you know. There's a lot of confusers out there, confusing people. If you don't know what you're talking about, you should be talking. Unless you qualify by saying, I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is my opinion. But that's not what they're doing. They're saying, this is that, whatever. When they don't know. That means they're lying, and they know they're lying, and they're deceiving. And those type of people, right, always come with a hook. See, because they put the bait, right, is their BS. The hook is send me some money. See, I'm the one. Support my program. See, the economic program. Build a nation. But somehow that never happens because the only nation gets built, right, is their personal nation. Watch out for that, brothers and sisters. It's a free gift. Read Revelations chapter 21. It's a free gift. You don't have to pay for it. You already paid the price. You already made the sacrifice. The price has been paid. These people ask you for money. They're lying to you. They're deceiving you. They're trying to take things from you. Say, well, Elijah asked for money. He was told to do that. He had a mission. He had a mission to show us what we're supposed to look like. Like I said, the first resurrection had form but no spirit. Prepare you for what's to come behind him. He's John the Baptist preparing you what's to come behind him. So let's move on to the presentation, and hopefully it'll be beneficial to you.
And I saw when he opened up the seal the sixth, and shaking great occurred, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon whole became as blood, and the stars of the heaven fell into the earth, as fig tree is throwing the unripe figs of it by wind great being shaken, and the heaven was separated from as little book being rolled up, and every mountain and island out of the places of them they were moved. And the kings of the earth and the greatest men and the chilly arches and the rich and the strong and every slave and freeman they hid themselves into the caves and into the rock masses of the mountains, and they are saying to the mountains and to the rock masses, fall you upon us and hide you us from face of the sitting upon the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, because came the day the great of the wrath of them, and who is able to stand?
So that's the sixth seal. That sixth seal is being opened. Some of those things already taken place. A lot of things in Book of Revelation has already taken place. But the main things are about to happen now, because the main guts of Revelations and others happens when the war takes place. All builds up to that. It's all building up to that. But that's the main event when this war takes place in the Middle East. And we see it's getting hotter and hotter every day. They're planning this new kabuki dance about, relieving sanctions, don't relieve sanctions, right? Who's going to do what, right? You got to stop the sanctions before I stop enriching uranium. No, you got to stop enriching uranium before I lift the sanctions. Is that an impasse, right? You understand that the Iranians, they're the Persians, they're the ones that invented chess. They're master chess players. The angel tells us they're going to war. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to walk all events from right now forward, where they are right now. Because right now they're at the brink of war. They're at the brink of war that could happen any day now. They're at the brink of war. They're telling you that, hey, Iran, Israel's false Israel making that statement. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. I don't care what America says. So that's a threat to Iran. And Mr. Sinau, I mean, that's interesting. You think about that for a minute. See, when you put pressure on something, the strongest comes to the fore. It always makes the strongest come up to deal with the pressure. When we put pressure on a nation, it forces to produce its most strongest, the greatest seed, the strongest seed, right? The more pressure, the strongest seed to produce. It's a survival aspect. So this tells you right now the danger America is in, because the pressure on who's at the helm? A man that's obviously senile. He doesn't even know where he is half the time. He doesn't even know what he's saying half the time. That should tell you a lot right there. He's at the helm. That means that's the best America could produce under all the pressures under. That's telling you right there. Because when you run to a point where you can't produce anything stronger than the pressure that you're dealing with, that means you collapse, you die. So that's a big sign right there. Under all this pressure, that's the best they could produce. And when America goes to war, he's at the helm. The signs are there, brothers and sisters. There's going to be signs all over the place. If that's not a good sign, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, let's move on.
Then cometh the end, when he shall have delivered up the kingdom to God, even the Father, when he shall have put down all rule and all authority and power. For he must reign, till he hath put all enemies under his feet. The last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. For he hath put all things under his feet.
What is this talking about? You have to understand, brothers and sisters, how this thing works. The rod is supposed to, in chapter 12 it says, Michael's angels, right? They went to war with the dragon and his angels. That's it says a war in heaven. See, he's going to do his battling in the heavens, right? In the Middle East, to prepare, right, our way back home. He's preparing our home for us. As I go to prepare a place for you. My Father's house are many mansions. See, we all have mansions, but that's the war he handles. Chapter 19, the same thing. All the other wars, Suleiman handles. Read Exodus. Joshua is the one that goes to war. He has to defeat all the nations because he's been empowered by Pharaoh to do that. That's why it's called a Christ. Elijah Muhammad referred to that as the Christ, said he's given power to crush the wicked. That would be Suleiman would do it. That's what Scripture's telling you. See, because Pharaoh would give him that power to do that. Empower him. But let me qualify that, right? He's given power to do it because he's a spiritual son. See, but he has power in and of itself. Maybe I should say it a different way. You have a general. You send your general to war. Well, he's better be a good general. He has power because that's why you made him a general. See? So You may not have knowledge of war, but he does, because that's his general. You may be a civilian, you may have no knowledge how war works, but he's a general. He does so. Because it's war, you send him into battle. If it was a forest fire, you send fire people. But it's war, you send general, the one who knows most about it. See, so you empower him to do that, but it's his power that makes it happen. I should have said that away. See, because Farad did not give me the angel, but because I have the power or the wisdom to break the seals, right? Then he gives me the mission to go and put all the nations under my feet. And once that happens, everything is returned to him. That's what it says in Ancient of Days, right? Ancient of Days, when he cast down thrones, he cast down all the authorities. Then he sits. And then Pharaoh comes and he gives all back to him, to his father. Because he sits on the throne. His throne will be in Jerusalem, his throne of David, because he's David. See, his throne will be there in between Arabia and Africa. See, Jerusalem, this is like as a bridge between both. He's going to rule the whole world, but those main two tribes right there. He's right in the middle. He's ruled all of it. See, but Suleiman's throne will be at city of Mecca. He's the high priest. See, he's a spiritual aspect of this whole situation, while Farad is the administrator. So that's what I want to point out. So it's Farad will be war. The angel tells you he makes war in the Middle East and heaven. See, but it's Suleiman that makes war here on earth. He has to bring all authorities and principalities and everything, bring them down, bring them to heel, bring them down. Put them under his feet. And you, whether some of you know it or not, is part of that army. Once you wake up, when the four winds blow, that's when your mind comes back. Said you wake up as a mighty army. I know that's going to happen. I'm not worried about it. You don't know, but you'll soon. See, we love you. We're not judging you. You already served. You already made the sacrifice. But we know your mind is gone. That was part of the sacrifice. So we're here to return your mind back to you. Once your mind is returned back to you, it's all over. As Elijah Muhammad taught you, right? Unity is the key. It's greater than any atomic bomb they have, right? Any explosive they have is more powerful, the most powerful force in the universe, our unity. We're the maker, owner, cream of the planet, God of the universe. Let's move on. So what I'm going to try to do here to try to get you more familiar with the Injil, I'm going to try to point out different things in the Bible, right? Because I'm going to go through this process. With the angel saying what's going to happen, we're going to use the angel key to show that. But we're going to show different books in the Bible, right? So you understand. The point is, you have to understand that the key unlocks those books. So we're going to go in and use some of those things. We're going to explain the key in that particular way. So in this way, we're going to talk about when David went to war with Goliath, right? So we're going to use that and map that into the key. We're going to use that storyline for this part, right? So here we are right now. Where we are right now is what says sackcloth, that's the Shia, right? The agreement, the JCOP agreement has been broken, right? Now they're moving up. That's what in the sixth seals talk about that wind blowing. They're wind blowing, right? They're pushing up. They're pushing on America. That's what it's saying right now. They're pushing. Because they're telling America, if you don't stop these things, telling Europe too, if y'all pull these things, we're going to enrich your rate to 60%. You better not do that. Right? He said, well, if you don't drop these things, we're going to do it. See? So that's putting pressure on them. Because they already committed. We're not going to ever let him have a nuclear weapon. But they're getting closer and closer to it every day. In fact, they're trying to say it's like only weeks away. So do the math. if they're serious, they're committed to that statement they're making, right? That means they either Iran's got to stop or they're going to go to war with Iran very soon. Because once they get it, it's all over. And far as Israel saying they don't even care what Biden does, they're going to take them out anyway. So war is on the horizon, brothers and sisters. So we're talking about David. Now, the story about David and Goliath. David had 5 stones. So I show the stones here. See, Farad is David. He had 5 stones, right? And a slingshot. But slingshot is like white cloth, right? That you put a stone in, right? Well, bam. Well, the Shia, right? That's the white was in the bottom. Sackcloth. They're also known as sackcloth in chapter 11. They're also called sackcloth. So you see a stone right there? That's a slingshot. Those that study engine, no, I'm not changing anything. It's always been there, right? That's a slingshot. It's aimed at Goliath's head. Because you only use 1 stone. Aimed at Goliath's head. Right? Okay. Watch this closely now. Okay. He's swinging. Nope. He's swinging a sling. Right? He's about to let loose the rock. Right? Bam. Hits Goliath in the head. That's the war that's getting ready to take place. That's the war in heaven, talking about chapter 12. See? But that's what they talk about. They're talking about Goliath and David. Talking about that war. They're talking about. See? So if you go back here, right? That's false Israel right there. That's Goliath. That's Farad. That's his flag. Hits him in the head with 1 stone. Okay? He knocks him out. See? That's false Israel talking about. That's what Goliath is. He knocks him out. See? He's knocked him out of his position. See? Because he was in charge, right? He was the main one. See, that's where Goliath was at the top, right? He was at the top there. Let's start. See, Goliath was in the top position there. That's where America, false Israel, and everything was. They was in charge of the Middle East. They was in control, right? And then Farad goes against the Shia goes. That's the war. See? Battle's taking place now. Bam, Goliath get hit, right? So now he's knocked out, and America and Britain fall. There's knocked out of the Middle East too. They're knocked out of the Middle East. See, knocked out of the power they had because they had moved. They moved in 1990. They moved in. They superseded the power of Iran and Syria, who was the powerful country in the region at that time. Superseded them, and now they was the power brokers in the Middle East since 1990. For 30 years. But now this war will take place. It says they're going to knock him out. So now Goliath is knocked down, right? See, America and Britain is also kicked out. Then he cuts Goliath's head off. See? Because Goliath was the one, he says, Satan is God's world. Goliath, false Israel, was one that was controlling America. You may not believe that, but it's true. See? So, now, false Israel is taken out. See? America and Britain, Gog and Magog are beheaded. Okay? And this is where it's talking about chapter 18, Babylon fallen. Headless, they fall. See? Magog, they fall. See? In chapter 18, it says, Babylon fell, and then the other one, the city, right? That's talking about Britain, right? It was thrown into the sea. So it's talking about. This is what will happen. The war will happen. Falsehoods will be taken out. They lay siege to it and take it. America and Britain will be kicked out of the Middle East. They said when they kicked out in chapter 12, they won't return. They said there was no place for them in heaven anymore. They will be completely kicked out of the Middle East. Completely. But false Israel, they'll still be there. They'll be taken, laying siege and wiped out. They'll lay siege to it and wipe them out. That's what it's talking about. That's what happened this year, very soon. Now, that's how that war is going to transpire. That's how it's going to turn out. And they're going to war because they're in an impasse. Otherwise, they're going to let Iran get nuclear weapons, which they still end up going to war anyway. So the angel tell us, see, the idea of what's going on right now is they're saying, the angel tell us that they're going to war. They're saying this JCOP, they're trying to get them back under the foot of the nations. I'm not going into that detail here, but trying to get them back under the foot, under UN control. But the angel, he says they will only be in that situation for 3.5 years, which they were, from 2015, 2018 and a half. Exactly what it says. The agreements took place, was signed up in 2018, 2015. It was terminated 2018 in half, in mid-year. That's 3.5 years, exactly what it said, 42 months. And then for 2 years, right, they'll be pushing, and in that 2-year period of time between 2018 and 6 months and 2020, it'll be a plague and all kinds of stuff going on. That they would be a result of the Shia, right? They're moving up because it's called a wind. That's what's going on there. That's what's going on there. And we see it happen because we see the plague did take place during that period of time between 2018 and 6 months and 2020 and 6 months. As a plague, talk about Exodus. After 40 years, 1619 to 2019, 20 years, 2020 will be a plague that will kill the firstborn, which means the elderly, and pass over the seed, the true seed of Abraham, pass over us. They say, oh, you died disproportionately, but the main thing they're hiding is the fact it's not affecting Black Africa. So we got pretty much the same genes they have. So why is it not affecting them? Shouldn't that be big news? If you got a whole continent of people that's not affected and everybody else is affected, wouldn't that be big news? But you don't hear faintest sound, crickets, because they don't want us to know that's passing over us, because they don't want you to know that prophecy. They killed Martin Luther King, told them, don't talk about the promised land prophecy. They told them, they threatened them. Said, don't talk about it. He went to talk to Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad stiffened his spine. He talked about it. The next day he was dead. They don't want you to know who you really are. They want you dead. They cannot let you ascend back to the throne. They cannot do that. They said, if you smite the king, you better kill him. They said, if you smite the king, you better kill him. Because the king come back into power, he's going to exercise his power on your ass. And these people did more than smite us. You got these appeasers and all these clowns, these demons and Negroes. Oh man, they ain't so bad. I had some food. The other day tell me, hey man, well they, was talking about how they experiment on black slaves before they had anesthesia. That's how they learned that. That's how they perfect their surgery skills in America. They was foremost in surgery because they was practicing on slaves, live slaves with no anesthesia because they didn't have any. Can you imagine a child or a woman screaming out in agony and pain while they probing her guts and playing with her and all that kind of stuff, cutting her open up? That's what it was doing. And this fool says, well, they had to do it on somebody so they can learn how to do it. Ooh. See, that's a fool talking. That's a demon talking. Really? So I told the father, I said, why don't you volunteer then? That's it. They ain't telling the whole story. They ain't telling the whole story. That's how they perfect. How do you perfect your service? They didn't. Right now they do it with animals. But we was animals before. Remember? We was animals before they were. Before they started putting in the cage. We was in the cages. They were using us, and they still do it today. They're still doing it today. When the whole truth came out about what they're doing, when the entire truth comes out about what they're doing, which is, it says, no matter how dark it is, it's going to come out. It's going to be shot upon the rooftops. When the whole truth comes out what these people was doing, ooh. And you got, man, we got to forgive them, man. We can't, like, go stupid Farrakhan. We can't do them like they did to us. What did the Bible say? As you have done, so shall be done to you. Who in the hell could be doing the doing? Some mystery God somewhere? It says, as you have done, so shall be done to you. So you're telling God a liar? The book says, God is not mocked. You know what that means? That means consequence is never fails. Because that be a mocking of God. God says, you reap what you sow. And if you don't, that means he's mocked. That means he's lying. He says, God's not mocked. You reap what you sow. There's every action has an opposite equal reaction. There's consequence. The God of consequences on the scene. The God of consequences on the scene. You will pay for everything you have done. Every bit of it. Every bit. God is not mocked. Well, we can't do it like he did to us because he's one of them. Because he would be saying, oh, don't do us like we did to you. We sorry. Please don't get revenge. See? They're trying to escape it. But it says, as you have done, so shall it be done to you. So ask me, Mr. Farrakhan, son of a devil, demon, who's going to be doing the doing? Your mystery God, who makes babies in the wombs and wakes you up in the morning? Because that's sure not Faraz. I don't know who that is. No, that is. Boy. Brothers and sisters. Ooh. It's like, once you wake up, and you look around, see, go in your sleep, it's like you lose a sense of smell, right? All of a sudden you find yourself in the shit farm. You walk around, all of a sudden your sense of smell comes back. Oh, man, what the hell? That's what it's like. Remember the old movie, Dust at Dawn? Right when it got dark, all of a sudden, everybody transformed to what they really was, demons. Brothers and sisters, we got demons and devils. Everybody around us. It tells that half the black people in America are demons. That's interesting. That's an astounding number. There's 34 million blacks in America, so they say. So that means 17 million, and that's coincidence. Is that coincidence that's what let's talk about 17 million? Were they talking about 17 million back then or 17 million now? See, you don't understand that. See? And 17 million demons. The ones you see on TV, those master's children, you could not get in those positions, right, unless you was master. The only one who worked in mass house was master's children. Master's black-faced children. That's what you see on TV, politics, all that kind of stuff, because they wouldn't get there. They weren't approved by master. They weren't certified by master. That means if you know 10 people, 5 of them are demons. We have demons in our families, relatives. That's why I said the man was plagued. When you plague, that doesn't mean you got a little sore. A plague is a plague. You're plagued by demons. We suffer with plague, but that's going to be resolved in a minute. Have no fear, brothers and sisters. They have a plan, Allah has a plan, and Allah is the best of planners. You can take that, to the bank. So then, once Babylon falls, they're in war with Europe. Right? Eastern Europe and Western Europe, that's America. They're going to be at war. We're going to talk about that in a second. They'll be at war in Eastern and Western Europe. See? I'm not going into all the details about it. Also be at war in the Orient, China and North Korea. They're already talking about this right now. They're talking about the particular war with, they're talking about a possible war with Russia, but they're also talking about that they think there's going to be a war with, definitely, it's definitely sure there's going to be a war with China. They've been talking about this for years. Even back in the 70s, they were talking about war with China. Eventually, he's reading this magazine called Scientific American. I used to read those books, right? I wasn't bouncing the ball, right? I was opening books, right? And they was talking about this way back then. See, because they already got their ass kicked in North Korea. See, what they not tell you is that the only reason why Vietnam won that war because China came across the border. See, because they were getting their ass kicked up in the north. And that's where China came across the border. Same thing in Korea. That's MacArthur guy's ass kicked because the Chinese came across the border. They came back in gigantic numbers, and sometimes they even have weapons. They would just keep charging. They would run your position, take your weapons, and come back at you. See, and they used to tell the Marines that these guys were like in the cartoons are 3 feet, 5 feet tall, that kind of stuff. When they got up there, those Chinese was 6 feet, 6.5 feet, some maybe 7 feet. They weren't no little monkeys; they were big pandas, and they was kicking ass. And they didn't want to stop them. If it wasn't for China, they wouldn't be able to stop them in Vietnam, and they wouldn't be able to stop them in Korea if it wasn't China. Every time they get in every time they go to war with China, they lose. See, they nervous about China. And now, you got nuclear China? Anyway, the whole idea is they cannot let us get the power. All of this plan, they was planning on taking, the scripture tells us, they plan on taking us out. Get rid of Israel, true Israel, right? So no more we remember. They all work together. The whole world is working on this. Whole world do not want us to stand in stone. They know our history. They know what's going on. A deal was made a long time ago, and they haven't forgotten. They know what's going on. But these guys down mean to keep us down. They do not want us to ascend to the throne again. Because somebody's going to have to pay. Somebody had to give account. What was you doing? What was your part in this? They cannot let us ascend to the throne again. So that's what's happening. Because we're right here in the middle, right, of America, right? And the thing is that America's at war, a war that they wanted to happen, but it didn't happen on their time, on their timeline, right? So they have to, it's all in now. When this war starts, all in. They know it's all in. They talk about, they always tell you, Third World War, that's it. So right now, they know that at that point, it's over. They got to get rid of us. And that's going to attack. That's what it tells you in Genesis, if you understand, it tells you all those scripture. That's the fun. Get rid of us. They try, first start with abortion, all those other things, but finally, just get rid of us. Okay? But you got some of them a little weak. They're afraid. See, because they understand the process of everything, they're afraid. So they're hedging their bets. Well, let's be nice to them. See? It's like the sheriff is closing in, and the wise guys, right, they got the body laying on the living room floor. See? So the question is, should we kill it and bury it? Right? The evidence is right there. But it's still alive. So can we kill it and bury it, or can we try to convince it to not press any charges? You see, say everything's okay. See, because you got two factions. One scared, say, no, man, I ain't gonna tell. I won't tell them chances, man. Let's sure, man. Let's try to talk to them. That's what you see going on right now. See, hey, man, let's defund the police. Let's be nice with black people. The ads, you put white black people together like every one happy family, and all this stuff. Because they're scared to death. And the ones that's doing that is the ones that really know it's prophecy. They're the ones behind it. See, false Israel, they birthed on this prophecy, Exodus. Their whole religion is based on Exodus. And so when they saw they knew about 1619, 2019, when they saw a plague come in 2020 and was passing over us, they knew exactly what that meant because the game was up. They've been deceived everybody pretend that's them, but now the proof is right in front of our face. So they got to do everything to cover that up. Even though you got a whole continent of people over there in Africa, right? Got basically the same genes we got. They're doing social distancing, none of that stuff, and virtually unaffected by the virus. Only continent on the planet. That should be big news. But most people don't even worry about it. Most people are not even aware about it. That situation, they're going to attack us. See? So the ones that trying to talk us out, they're going to be overridden. They're going to attack us. See? Okay, let's move on. And when they attack us, at this point, see, let's back up here. When they attack, see, okay, let me back up here a little bit. When Babylon falls, that's when Suleiman, right? He comes. That's what's talking about Malachi, that he comes suddenly to Elijah's temple. See, he's coming, right, to clean it up. Because the NOI wasn't listening at first to call the saints. They're Levites. They're not a tribe. They're not a tribe of Shabazz. They're Levites. There's 3 tribes. They're one of them, right? They're the tribe of Levites, right? But they came over with us too, because we was in Africa with the Levites. Our original home is Arabia, right? But we was forced out by a tribe of Hindus, which they were forced out, right? Which is led by Ishmael, right? That's Abraham's other son, the Arabs, who was forced out into Africa with the Levites. So we're there, and so when they started taking us, they took some of the Levites too. So they suffered the same thing, even though the covenant didn't apply to them. So they adopted in. So that's where the saints are. So he comes to them. Because he came to them one time, the 2008, 2009 period, right? During that period, the period of time Obama was president, and they rejected him. Now they're going to listen now. See, so he comes. That's what's happening here. That's when because when they attack, he shows up. Because they're going to need him then. Because all that Farrakhan, all that kind of stuff, that stuff is not going to play, and not going to play. Because now the reality is there, and he ain't got nothing to deal with. And then he's going to be exposed. He was really working with them all the time. Okay. So they attack, and then that's when Suleiman calls the Farad, right? Because they're talking about Ezekiel, the 4 winds. See, release the fury of 4 winds. But when you understand that, the 4 winds are also the 4 keys. So that's when those 4 plagues and the 4 trumpets, that's the first 4 trumpets. At first, the 5th trumpet blows. You have to understand that. And then the 6th blows. And the 6th released the first 4. It doesn't go in sequence of you think. The first 4 is all those plagues. And now in the plague, the first one was fire. So that's where fire hits, burns it up. Hit Europe, America, the whole people, whole 9 yards, right? So that 4 winds, because they're attacking us. So he calls that down to help us, right? To defend us. Hits them with the 4 winds. See, but one is the key. There are also 4 keys. But this one is, he giving this key to the abyss. The abyss is Russia and Europe, right? And the key that he had, because he was the one that released the locust, but he couldn't release, so he got the key. The 4 winds blow. So that's when he released the locust. See, who are locusts? Locusts are demons. One reason locusts because it's greenish. The King James verse said pale. It's wrong. It's greenish yellow. You need a transliteral version to understand that. So that's the locust. Locusts are the Christian blacks, right? They're going to retaliate. They're going to tear his country apart. That gets back to about Samson. I didn't include that in here. Story about Samson, but that's part of it. It tears the country apart for 5 months, like you've never seen for MLK riots, the Watts riots, right? George Floyd. Well, it's going to be worse than you ever imagined. 5 months, they're going to tear this country apart. Now that remember, the war, all this has to take place before the end of this year. And so you have the war, which has to take place at any time. And once that war kicks off, that kicks this. Once that war's finished, however long the war takes, how long the war will take? A month, a week? The angel tells us, I'm not telling you, right? So you can study and try to figure it out. The angel tells you how long the war is going to take. If I tell you, I'm telling them. And then that kicks off this, because they retaliate, because now they see their master's going to take them down too. They've been working for master. They can't say, oh, why are you turning against us, master? We've been working for you. We are children. We work in the house too. See? So that's what's happening there. They're the locusts. The locusts, master's children. They look like us, walk like us, talk. They can look like us, walk like us, talk like us, but they ain't us. See? They're seed of master. They're not seed. That story about the wheat and the chaff. Somebody sowed their wicked seed amongst the wheat. Amongst the wheat. Okay, this is, I said there'll be a war with, this is the explanation of that. Remember I said I'm taking other stories and incorporate in here so you understand it. It says, I bring a division, not, see, the European countries are going to be divided. Like the Quran says, let some surge against others. So now they're divided. See, their strength was their unity. But the pressure so great, they're crumbling. That's why they're divided. Because the pressure so great that they can't maintain it. When the pressure is great and you can withstand it, you start to crumble. When you crumble, that breaks it. That crumbling, well, how does something crumble? Because the unity that kept it together is broken. So they have no more unity anymore. Because the pressure so great, it takes force, energy to maintain structure. But the pressure so great, it breaks that apart. That's why it turns to dust. There's no unity in dust. Dust is scattered. No unity, there's no structure to it. Because you broke the structure down. The pressure so great. Where's their structure? Democracy, capitalism. You see it all breaking down right now. The education system, the health system, is all breaking down right in front of your faces. So at what point we just totally collapse? That's what it means. Because that's what happened to us. We didn't have the energy anymore, right? We didn't have enough energy to maintain our civilization, so it crumbled. See, it crumbled. Because we have enough energy to maintain. It's an energy to maintain, right? So understanding is part of the glue that holds that together. We got to start understanding each other, brothers and sisters. That's going to happen. Because right now we don't understand. We don't have no time for each other. We don't tolerate each other. Families, sisters, and brothers can't get along, and children are disobedient to their parents, everything like I said, because we don't have it just not happen by itself. It takes energy. It takes to hold it together. See? Force, hold it together. And we didn't have enough, but now we're about to have enough. So it requires a little more extra effort, but we can do it right now. But in a few more days, it's going to be much easier. But we're going to do it. And once we come together, we're going to want to stay together because we'll get more and more interest. Our unity is going to be more, our family ties are going to be so powerful. And you can't even imagine it. When you get in the hereafter, your children are going to be, they're going to be so loving, so obedient. Relationships between your spouses is going to be extra. There has to be a new word because love is going to not be good enough. The word love, with the idea of love, the idea of it is not going to be good enough. The family ties are going to be so strong and so great. And nothing will ever break it again. And it just get better and better and better, better and better. Neighbors, you treat your neighbor, they treat you just like your brother, just like part of your family. You won't even know it. In other words, the idea of family that we have right now won't be that. Because your next door neighbor is going to be your part of your family. We treat it just like your family. Your children are going to be their children. We're going to look at each other like we're just one real family, like you'll see, brothers and sisters. It's true. But they're They could not withstand the pressure more than 6,000 years. So now all the institutions are crumbling. I keep telling you that. All the institutions are crumbling because they can't withstand the pressure. Look, name one institution right now that's not under severe stress that's not crumbling. And then they got a senile man trying to control it. How you think that's going to work? Then extreme pressure, they got a senile man, right, that's trying to hold it together. Don't that tell you something, brothers and sisters? That tell you this is over. So what it says here, the father shall be divided against, that's what it means. And the son shall get, so that's what it is. See, when you understand Andrew, you understand what this means. The mother represents America. The father represents Britain, right? The daughter represents Russia. Son represents the EU. The daughter-in-law represents the Christian blacks. So so it says the father should be divided against the son, right? So that means Britain is going to go against, and you already see it happening right now. Didn't they just have Brexit? This is not something I just made up. You go back years, this has been there for years. Before they even thought about Brexit, I was talking about it. I said Britain and Europe is going to divide and break up, and that's what's happening. It's all but done. So it'd be father against son, right? Son against the father, so they're against each other. That's why I want to break up. People don't want to have a part with each other anymore, right? Son against, father divided against the son, we talk about that. Son against the father, the mother against the daughter, right? That means America is going against Russia. You see all the stuff going on right now? All the stuff going on with Trump, Russia. Now you're talking about all the conflict, there's more conflict with Russia now. They're making all kinds of accusations about Putin and carrying on, right? So it says, and mother against daughter, and daughter against the mother, and daughter against the mother, right? So back and forth, same thing, right? And mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law. Now, the daughter-in-law represents Christian blacks, but the daughter-in-law, the mother is the mother-in-law. So that means they're going to be a fight, right? Dividing them. They're going because right now, right? They say, "Oh, we Americans, we part of this country," and all this kind of stuff, right? But you already see right now the division going on. So-called Black Lives Matter, all that kind of stuff. You see the division building right now. Fund the police and everything. That's what it's talking about. Mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. That's the locust being about to let loose. That's what that means right there. See? So that means you got all this fighting. It's building, it's getting stronger, it's not gonna die down. It says, I don't bring peace, I'm bringing division. That means it's gonna get worse. See? So you got internal strife amongst European countries, and you got the strife outside amongst the other countries. China, Iran, so forth. They can't withstand the pressure. You can fire control. So if you repent, they can repent all they want to. Like Muhammad said, even if they try to repent, the sign tell them no, because you don't understand pressure. The pressure is not going to go away. The universe is not going to stop contracting, because the contraction of the universe is caused the pressure. Because probably every 50 years we get an energy wave. That's what it says. It's momentous in the heavens and earth, but come you but of a sudden. That's the mention. As the universe contracts, all the energy that's out there now used to be here. But we put it all out there to make the stars and planets and everything. So now it's coming back. It comes back in waves, approximately every 50 years, called jubilees. See? So when the last one was back in the 60s, because the first positive one we had, see, when we started our resurrection, the first positive one we had was back during the so-called Civil War, 1860s. The next one, that broke our chains. The next was mental. That's when Marcus Garvey come along, Farad, Noble Drew Ali. They start breaking our mental chain. So blacks started thinking, let me back up. When we broke the physical chains, remember, it was two groups. It was demons and saints. Demon, original and the field Negroes, right? House Negroes and the field Negroes, pretty much, right? So they broke chains, right? The original people, they got the hell out of there. The demons wanted to stay back with massa, sharecropping, stay back on the farm. But you can't make this up, brothers and sisters. And then when you're 20, 50 years later, right, in the 20s, right, you had the same thing. When this mental inspiration start, taking over, you had two groups. You had the Eurocentric and Afrocentric. The Afrocentric was like Marcus Garvey, right, Elijah Muhammad, that kind of stuff, Freud. And you had the Eurocentric, right? They said, oh no, man, we need to think more like America, mean more like Americans. And here's this brown bag test. See, you had to pass the brown bag test. You had to be more like white people. You had two different ideas because you got two different people. So you had two different ideas when you come off the farm. You got two different ideas then. And then in the 60s, same thing happened again. 50 years later, right? First was physical change, then the mental, then the social, right? The social movement, right? So-called civil rights. 50 years later, right on time. And then what happened? Division again. Segregation, integration. The demons want to be part of this, led by Martin Luther King. He want to be part of this. We better Americans, all that kind of stuff. Demons, we love it here. We got to be good America, all that kind of stuff. Integration, let's get more into it. And what do? They show you they ain't part of us. Because as soon as that door is open, they got the hell away from you. They ran to Massa. They're in Mass house out there in the suburb. They're in Massa's house. See? And then segregation said, we want to get the hell out of here. Elijah Muhammad faction. Still same thing. So now we broke the social chain. Now we about to break all chains right now. And we got these two groups right now. Farrakhan's leading one of them. We want to stay here. We want to improve America. We ain't going nowhere. But you don't understand what he's saying. Because you think he's with you. He ain't. He's with them. See, we ain't going nowhere. We got to try to save America, right? We pray for America, right? If America comes to war, we're going to defend. That's where it said he's going to defend. But Elijah Muhammad said if they go to war, because Farad is going against them. So it means you're going to be fighting against Farad. He wants to bring those in the NOI. And you don't get it? That's the two groups. So he's infiltrating, to trying to get you, to convince you to go that way. Because he pretty much accomplished that. Because most blacks right now want they be better Americans, and we want and all that kind of stuff. See, you don't hear anybody talking about part of it here because they ain't gonna never get you on TV, let you have a voice anyway. See, and they've been shutting this voice down off and on as often as they can, and they can't stop it. But you got two groups, because it tells you right there in the demon-possessed man. Right? In the book of Mark. See, you had two ideas. Jesus came and he started calling them out. And the first thing he says, please stop tormenting me. Stop telling everybody who I am, because he's deceiving everybody. And please don't make me leave the country. He didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay here. He wanted to stay with Master. He said, send me over here with the swine. So he wants to stay with swine daddies. Then they get to fight. It's right there. So still got so they're gonna stay. We want them to stay. We don't want you don't come with us. See, we're gonna talk about that a little more in a little bit, and we can leave him. So you got those two divisions again. See, and because the demons, they might look like us, walk like us, talk like us. They ain't us. They got it's two different visions. See, we saw Elijah Muhammad and Martin Luther King together was two different visions. They might look similar, but they're two different visions. One this way, one that way. Okay. Actually, let me do this real quick. Oh. I forget that you can't. You can't see this sometimes. So I can see it. Okay, that's the mother. daughter, father, son, daughter-in-law. So just so you can see it. Okay.
Then Moses reached out with his hand over the sea, and the Lord swept the sea back by a strong east wind all night, and turned the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. So the sons of Israel went through the midst of the sea on the dry land, and the waters were like a wall to them on their right and on their left. Then the Egyptians took up the pursuit, and all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen went in after them into the midst of the sea. But at the morning watch, the Lord looked down on the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud, and brought the army of the Egyptians into confusion. He caused their chariot wheels to swerve, and he made them drive with difficulty. So the Egyptians each said, "Let me flee from Israel, for the Lord is fighting for them against the Egyptians."
Okay, what's happening here is they talk about escaping through the Red Sea and everything. That has nothing to do with, let me change this right here. See, that's not, you have to understand the angel. This is what it's talking about here. See, the sea, that's also the red, Africa is also called the sea. The Red Sea, see it's red, right? And so before, let's go back one page. Let's go back one.
Then Moses
Nope.
reached out with his hand.
Oops.
Then Moses reached out with his
See how
hand
it's
over
going
the
up?
sea, and the Lord swept the sea back by a strong east wind all night, and turned the sea into dry land, and the water.
So they was down, they had to come up, and so it had to come, but it said the wind blew against the sea, so the sea and the wind was connected, right? Because the sea is also winds. The four of them are winds. But it did say they divide the sea. Got to read it carefully. It said divide the waters, because the waters was blocking them from getting off into up here. The waters was keep blocking their escape. So it said the waters was divided, and it was a wall on both sides. So to get past the waters. You understand? That's what it's talking about. And then it says, well, we need to go back. We need to go back a little bit here. Nope. See here? Once the sea is gone, right, there's dry land there because sea is dry, gone. So now up there is dry land now. See? That's what it's talking about. So they was able to get to dry land, right, through dry land, through the sea, Red Sea, right, and the waters was blocking them, so it had to be separated. That's what it's talking about. It's not talking about we're going to leave here, have to cross through the Red Sea. That's I'm taking these, trying to take these scriptures, try to put them back to the engine so you understand what they're really talking about.
Then Moses reached.
So this is a resurrection, right? Where all black folks come together. Remember the plague, the plague lasts 5 months, demon, and they'll be attacking, because they're going to be attacking in 5 months. It's going to be 5 months of hell. They're going to be attacking, right? And Suleiman is going to show up, the Nation of Islam, to defend themselves, right? While the demons are tearing this country apart, and they still be attacking, right? And then after 5 months, they'll come together, because that's when the four winds going to blow. I mean, the four winds already blown. Four winds already blown. There's a 5 month period. Once they blow, then when the locusts are let loose, that's when they go tear this country apart. Let me back up here. They attack. Suleiman calls on the four winds. for to release their four winds of fury, right? Once that happens, the locusts are let loose. For 5 months, they start tearing the country apart. During this period of time, they're still attacking us. 5-month period. The wind's already blown. Locusts are doing their thing, right? Suleiman's over here with the NOI. After 5 months, all black folks come together. The demons and the saints, they all come together. Because everybody understands we're in trouble. They're in trouble now. See? Ain't no more art and all that kind of stuff. Everybody comes together. That's the harvest we see right there. Now, at this particular time right here, you see where Elijah is? That's when he returns. Now, what Exodus says, when Elijah returned, he found out that the children of Israel he found out the people was out of control because Pharaoh, Aaron had got them out of control. What was out of control? Because they was down, look where they were at. See, when he came back, where were they? Let's back up here. See where they were? All scattered. That's what it means out of control. It's all scattered. But that was Wallace and Farrakhan did. Because that's what said great falling away first. Right? They caused that to happen. So that's out of control. But the scriptures blame it on Aaron, Farrakhan. He tries to blame it on Wallace. But he was the one that was left in charge. So he's supposed to take the blame. But like I said, the buck stops here, but not him. Oh, it's Wallace. But he didn't leave. Elijah Muhammad didn't leave Wallace in charge. If Wallace wasn't having anything to do with it, because Wallace was officially banned from the Nation of Islam at the time Elijah Muhammad departed. So that made it very clear. He wasn't supposed to have nothing to do with it. Farrakhan was he was a chief spokesman, right? He was supposed to be one, but he took and bowed down to Wallace because he's scared, he's a punk, he's a coward. And that's how, so it's on Farrakhan, not on Wallace. Because it was Farrakhan's responsibility. So that's what happened. That's what meant it out of control. See? So then
Then Moses reached out with his hand over the sea, and the Lord swept the sea back by a strong east.
So now Elijah's back in his seat, right? And at that point, what does Exodus say? See, he's angry at Aaron. He says, everybody's with me, right? He comes to the Levites. So all Levites, remember, the saints, they also are Levite. He said, come with me. And they told them to do what? We'll see at the next one. It's resurrection. See? So we talk Exodus. Remember we're putting all this stuff together, different books we're putting together, put them in the key to show you how what's happening here, to explain it. There's a lot more that we could use, but we're just using this here because we don't want to make this a 5-hour, 10-hour thing. Okay. Before that, it says come with the clouds. That's what it means, come with the clouds. Did you notice that right there? It says come with the clouds. See, those demons are also called the clouds. They're all symbolic. That means when they come together, right? He's gonna be with them. He come with the clouds. See, and so every eye will see him. But they're also called the seven eyes. No.
Now what?
Let me do it back up here. Okay. They also call the 7 eyes. The original nation, right? It's also called the 7 eyes. Watch closely. There you go. See, that's what it means. He comes in the clouds, every eye will see him. That means everybody in the world. It means they'll see him because they're the only eyes in the angel. Every eye will see him. That means they're talking about Suleiman, not Farah, because Farah is one of the eyes. Every eye will see him. That's what it means. Because he's there now. Everybody's coming together. Everybody's together at that point.
Now when Moses saw that the people were out of control, for Aaron had let them get out of control to the point of being an object of ridicule among their enemies, Moses then stood at the gate of the camp, and said, Whoever is for the Lord, come to me. And all the sons of Levi gathered together to him. And he said to them, This is what the Lord, the God of Israel says, Every man of you put his sword on his thigh, and go back and forth from gate to gate in the camp, and kill every man his brother, and every man his friend, and every man his neighbor. So the sons of Levi did as Moses instructed, and about 3,000 men of the people fell that day. Then Moses said, Dedicate yourselves today to the Lord, for every man has been against his son and against his brother, in order that he may bestow a blessing upon you today.
See, that's what it's talking about. Now, that's talking about when at the harvest time, it said, let them go together, the weeds and the wheat, the chaff and the wheat. But harvest time, Suleiman, son of man, will separate them and throw the chaff into the fire, or the demons. That's what's talking about here. And why this says 3,000? Because if you understand the angel, each one of these represents 1,000. So it's 3 of them, 3,000, including Farrakhan. See, they're slain, all of them are slain. I said they're going to be taken down from within. They all will be slain. See, Elijah Muhammad and the Levites, he's going to take the Levites, they're not demons, right? And they're going to slay the rest of them. That's why thrones are cast down. They're going to slay the rest of them. Those demons in there, Farrakhan's demons, because it's plagued by demons. That's the whole story about Peter. See, he claims he was Peter. Who is Peter? It says, without going into a lot of detail, it says, on this rock I'll build my church, right? And the gates of hell will not prevail against it. And because you don't pay attention, you think that's a big deal. Man, that's powerful. The gates of hell will not prevail against it. Sounds powerful until you analyze it. Because there's 3 subjects there. There's a church, there's hell, and there's gates between them. The gate is not designed to keep people out of hell. It's designed to keep the demons and devils in hell. That's what the gate is for. It's not designed to keep people out. It's designed to keep people that's in. So you got the gate between church and hell, and that gate is what's keeping the demons and devils in. But if that gate does not prevail, that means it failed. That means all the demons come running to the church. See, you got to pay attention to the word. He said, the gates of hell would not prevail. That means they will fail with this guy. So all the demons going to run into the church. So he's filled up. That's why it says the nation of Islam would be plagued by demons, because he's filled up with demons like himself. Birds of a feather flock together. They understand, they understand their master's call, because they're just like him, ripping off people. They're liars, right? Then he bring it, oh boy. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. That's where he cast them out, cast the demons out, cast them into the fire. Remember, they wanted to go back to their devil daddies, so now they're back to their devil daddies. That's what they wanted. Legion says, send us back. Remember his Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds of NOI backwards. You can't make this up, brothers and sisters. Legion, Legion. Leg, Louis Eugene Grounds, that's his real name, right? He claims the Grounds is not, it is. Even if it wasn't, man, is that a coincidence? Louis Eugene Grounds, Legion, NOI backwards. You turn NOI all the way backwards. You can't make this up, brothers and sisters. Right there, Mark. Demon-possessed man. He's Legion. So now he want to go back. So he says, when they get back, what? Then they got to fight and they rub cliff together. That means they'll be fighting now. This is story of Samson. I'm not going to go into that here, but this is talking about Samson when he positioned himself between 2 pillars. He brought the whole price down. Because if you're on these winds right here, is America and Britain, God make up. He's right positioned right between both of them. See, Samson was a demon. He went through slavery just like we did. But he got his hair back, his strength back, but he didn't get his eyes back. He wasn't original. And he was pissed off. He wanted revenge. So he positioned himself between 2 pillars, America and Britain, Gog and Magog, and he brought him down. See? That's what that's all about. So at this point, right, this is where when they're cast down, we're delivered. Because the Shia, which sackcloth, they're not coming over here. So we be over there. That's the elect, right? Those are the ones that Suleiman took with him. His Lamb book of life is 144,000. This one took with them. Their name was in. But he didn't take the saints with them. Because demon-possessed man, he wasn't allowed to go with it. He said, no, you got to go back. Because they failed their mission. See, they allowed themselves to be deceived by Farrakhan. See, they're the silver taught by the Malachi. And we're the gold. See, silver can be represented as being black. So they got to go through the tribulation period. And the math behind it is that if you put gold and silver into the furnace, the silver has to stay a little longer because it takes more heat to purify silver than it takes gold. So you pull the gold out, but the silver has to stay a little longer to purify it. That's why they got to go to tribulation. They got to go a little longer. That's the math behind it. So we return home now. Because like I said, Shia's not coming over here. That's who sackcloth represents, the Shia. They're not coming over here. So that means we're over there. Africans not coming, we're over there. And Africa is divided into two. I said Africa would be in two parts. See, Islamic Africa and non-Islamic Africa. Non-Islamic Africa, right? Because when this war takes place, Africa's about to break into two parts. It's not going to be disunited like it is right now. It's going to unite it, but in two parts. Non-Islamic Africa, non-Islamic Africa, right? Which you will see will be led by your friend Barack Obama, the one who went for conquering and the conqueror. He had two conquests to make. President of the United States, the first one, president of this non-Islamic Confederation of Africa. And then you're going to have those that's loyal to Farrakhan. I mean, sorry, boy, that was a slip. Those loyal to Farad, right? Those represented by Jesus, Muhammad, Elijah, Gabriel. See, all those are part of Levite, right? So that's why the tree is divided in two parts. That's why I said the heaven was separated. We're talking about the sixth seal. It was separated. So we return home. See? Okay. Then comes the flood. Noah's flood. The 200 million man army. It's a flood of humanity, not a flood of water. See, but in Injil, it calls the sea and rivers. See, the Sunni also called waters. They're part of the rivers. It says they had the sea, then you had the rivers and the fountains of waters. See, so Sunni represents the waters. See, because that's the ark there. The ark. It was nine people in the ark, right? And the ark rested on the waters. That's the waters there, right? And that's also the new heavens and new earth. So the Sunni represents the new earth, right? That represents new heaven. Anyway, that's the flood coming. Because if you go back here, a little bit, you see where the sackcloth is, the Shia? They was one holding back the waters. They was one holding back the flood. That's what it's talking about in Noah's. It was something holding back the flood. They was holding it back because they was between the earth and the heavens. See? And so they messed with the nation. Europeans, if they knew understood it, they would mess with them because they're actually holding the flood back. But once, right, they're removed and they replaced, right? They moved into the ark. There's nothing holding it back anymore. Once they move to the ark, those are doves. Once they move to the ark, there's nothing holding back the flood anymore. See? Holding it back. So then the flood goes. The flood's getting ready, right? It's hit separation. Because now what's happening is America's at war, Europeans at war with everybody themselves, and China and India. China and India represents the goat in Daniel. That's death in Hades. That's the 10 kings we'll talk about in a second, right? It says there was a dragon that has 7 heads and 10 horns, but the horns, crowns on his horns. That's European countries. The 7 heads was European countries. They had the authority. But then the authority shifted to this beast that had 7 heads, 10 horns also, but his crown's on his horns. So when America and Europe goes war with each other, it's going to be a big power shift to China and India. They're going to be the world powers. Because America, their unity is broken, so they tear themselves apart. See? Europeans, remember their unity is broken now. The pressure is broken, so their bonds are broken. Their family ties, like the Quran said, their family ties are broken. So they're weak now. So now, China and India are the strongest. That's what I said. They're the same thing. 7 heads and 10 horns, but the crowns will shift to the horns, right? So that's China and India, right? That's the leopard in Daniel, yellow with brown spots. And it says there'd be a 200 million man army. Only China and India can put an army together like that. And still have reserves. That's the flood. See, they take out Europe and America. America first. That's the goat. It took out the ram first. The ram represented America and Britain. The goat came and said came across the sea, but it came from the west, but its feet did not touch land. That means it came across the Pacific Ocean. And it said it hit the ram with such kinetic force and knocked it down. But because this ram was powerful, nobody could stop this ram. This ram was so powerful, nobody could stop it. But this goat, he says, goat got angry at the ram. It got angry. He said it came with shoulder. It was angry and it came with such speed and force at it, right? That means China's coming like gangbusters. So they're gonna come out so hard because they're gonna be so divided with it, so occupied in Europe and everything, getting their ass kicked over there. When they could come so fast and so hard, they're gonna knock America down and Britain down bad, because they're gonna be the first ones they're gonna attack. Because they was the ones that was mostly messing with China anyway. Because they was forcing drugs on China, all that kind of stuff. That's what the Boxer rebellion, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going into all of that, right? That's history, right? But they forced drugs on China. They forced drugs on China, back in a couple of years ago. They went in to stabilize China and everything else. They started the war with Japan. They started all this stuff. So now they come to such kinetic speed, break them, stump them to the ground. And says, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but that's what happened here. Okay. So, and it's because these 10 keys says they're going to hate the horde. They're going to hate America. See? And they're going to knock her down, right? Eat her flesh and burn her down with fire. You understand what that means? But the point is, when they invade, they're going to wipe out America. They're going to take all able-bodied people that's able, strong. They're going to take them to perpetual slavery. They're never coming out of it. Worse than what they did to us, right? They're going to take everything of value. Then they're going to burn the place down, make sure no life left. The Bible says, it'll be 1,000 years, nobody will ever live here. So Farrakhan, you still want to stay here? It says, only thing be able to live here will be owls. But why would that be? Because the place gets nuked, it's irradiated. It says no one will be able to live for 1,000 years. See? So that's what's about to happen here. See? That's what's about to happen. And they're going to take out the demons too. And it's going to be China, India, and also it's going to be, because it says, remember, there was 3 beasts. There was actually 2. There was 3 altogether. There's a dragon that has 7 heads and 10 horns, and his crown was on his heads. But he had another beast that had 7 heads and 10 horns, crowns on his horns. They had another beast that was 7 heads and 10 horns, but it didn't have any crowns at all. So, but alongside the beast that had 7 heads and 10 horns and the crowns on his horn. That's Obama. That's the same thing. So they all together. That's non-Islamic Africa. They all bind together and they're going to come and they're going to. And these demons, they're going, oh man, Obama, man. He didn't care about you. He going to tear your ass. He going to tear your ass up too. So you think he come to help you? He come to get rid of your ass. He tried to get rid of your ass. You don't understand that. Eh? Boy, if you understood Revelation, Genesis, about that serpent and what's going on there, it tells you in chapter 17, right, that only those who worship whose names was not in the Lamb's book of life. He's the one that says he's 8, but other 7, right? That mystery guy, that's him. Anyway, I'm not going to detail. I'm going to get sidetracked here.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords, and King of kings, and they that are with him are called, and chosen, and faithful.
Okay, that's in here. But what it's saying here, right, is that at the end, because it's tell if you understand, it says Suleiman, right? He's the son. The last object he had to overcome was death. That's the last enemy he had to take care of. That's not talking about when a person dies, that kind of death. It's talking about death. Death represents the Oriental countries because they're going to attack us once we get home. See, but remember, it says that when they attack, when they go against Europe, it said these 10 kings are the same ones. I said that the beast has 7 heads, 10 horns, and crowns on the horn. That's Britain. That's India and China, Hades and death, right? It says they would hate the heart. That's America. It's telling you what he says here. Listen to what he says. It says, but God put in their minds to do it. So what does that mean? They was following Pharaoh's will. Now I can go into how that happens. I'm not going to talk about the videos, explain that more in detail. But it says he was the one guiding them to do it. See? But it's Suleiman, again, he's the one fighting all the battles. And so he said after he does that, the last one is death. That means, because remember, all these countries are against us. So now this powerful beast, China, India, the 7 heads and 10 horns, the crown upon his horns, with Obama there, because it said they don't get to war with each other. After they conquer everybody else, they don't get to war with each other. It says Africa, and Obama, they're going to defeat China and India. They're the bear they're the mystery bear. See, Obama is very so mysterious. They kind of really cover him up because he's the bear in Daniel. See? So he's going, and then once he has control, because he got to have control of their armies, the China army and India army, and then he's Lucifer when he's talking about. So I will be like the Most High. I put my king, my throne right in the far west. What are you talking about? That's America, where he's first throne. See, he had a converse with Michael because he thinks both my archangels, and they're similar in many ways because both of them have original fathers but devil mothers. He says he should be the one. See, both archangels, they figure he should be, but Michael is favored. God's favorite. See? So that's the last battle. But that battle is going to take place once we're safe at home and no walls around us, anything, at peace. But God's protecting us. Remember, because Joshua is the general on the ground. Pharaoh is the air force. That's what it said in Exodus. Then he's got to control the whole world. Obama's got to control the whole world. Then he said, all you got to do is get rid of us. That's the final battle. That's what's talking about right here. It's the final battle. See? That's what it says in chapter 20. Death and hell was thrown into fire. See? Final battle. See? After they took out Europeans.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords, and King of kings, and they that are with him are called, and chosen, and faithful.
See, it says they're going to make war with the Lamb. This is going to be a land battle. So they're going to take 6 months to bury the dead. This is where the brothers, right, is going to finally get their full self-respect back because it's going to battle like you've never seen before. Quran says, when that day comes, if you turn, you better be turned to get a better position, right? Because that's going to be the battle, all battles. this so-called battle they have right now, Armageddon with the European, that's nothing compared to this battle. See? And you got some hardcore sisters gonna want to get involved. I don't know about that one. See, because they justified because they all that crap that they went through this 400 years, they definitely authorized to kick ass if they want to. So we'll see about that one, right? But that's the last battle. That's it. Last victory will be over death. That's what we're talking about. That's talking about when just stop people from dying. Everybody's born is gonna die. So everybody's gonna die. I mean, nobody, only a fool wanna live forever. I mean, if you understand the implications of that. See, we created death, you understand, just like sleep to refresh you. But death was not permanent. See, it's like a nap. See, take 4 birds, teach them to climb to you, place them on all mountains, right? And then they come to you, call them, they come to you flying, right? You gotta understand that about chromosomes, and I'm not going to all of that, but I got things that explain that. Okay, brothers and sisters, I think that's it. Let's just make sure. Okay, brothers, that pretty much wraps it up. I hope you understand. This is, look at it carefully. This is what we can expect. Because when that war starts, and it will start soon, all these things follow. There's a lot more, right? But I put a lot of detail there, so you'll know. And our people's coming in. They're coming in hot. They're coming in hot, right? And those of you aware, get ready. Make those slots. Study, right? Because they're going to depend on you. I can't do it by myself. Do I look like an octopus? Brothers and sisters, we're part of a family. We're part of a body. I'm just part of the body. Do I walk around with just a head, no body? We're all part of the body. We got many brain cells, heart, lung, all, so we all work together. One body, that's what we'll be in the hereafter. Won't be no dictators, nothing like that. One body. You know, I love my toes as much as I love my hands and my feet and everything else. If my toe get to hurt, my whole body hurts. And I don't put down my toe, oh man, you a nasty stinking toe. You talk to your toe like that? You love your toe just as much as you love your ears. Brothers and sisters, we got to start thinking correctly. Because all of you, unless you just totally reject it, all of you out there that see Abraham, you just part of me as much as me. You're as close to me as my son and my daughters are. Maybe closer in some respect, because sometimes they, you know. Brothers and sisters, things are going to change. Like I said, they have to give a new word, because what they call love now it's not going to explain how close we're going to be. See? We're going to be one body, united forever. Assalamu alaikum.